Hi everyone, I'm hoping this is working. Facebook threw me out before, so hopefully everyone's seen this post. It's been interesting today on Facebook, but there we go. Hi Julie, Pete watching football. Don't need to watch it. If we hear a cheer, we know that England are doing well. So there we go. Right, just let me move this over slightly. So just before we kick off tonight, just to give people a chance to get in, I've had a delivery today. A little bit disappointed, there's a couple of things missing, but hopefully they should be here soon. So yeah, I've been ordering from Arden. So we've got the My Flowers stamps, which they're stamps, although the clay stamps are really, really good and you get really good images on them. Put these in order. So the Been There collection paper pad, which is the one that went with the one that we did for the International Scrapbook Day kit. So that's come in, and we've got some of the epoxy stickers in. The ephemera for that collection, and the rub-on transfers, we've got those back in. There is more of the pattern paper, but they've not come in yet. They're waiting for them to come from the wholesaler. Well, I'm waiting from the wholesalers, so from the manufacturers. I've also got in the Textures collection by Lou Collins, which is really, really pretty. I wasn't sure at first, but I really like the papers. To go with that, we've got the ephemera pack as well. Some really nice ephemera with that, very florally and really pretty. And then I've got the Garden Chronicles, which is a real kaleidoscope of colours and some very nice florally bits on it, but really usable papers for mini books or just for scrapping. And then it has the kiss cut designs as well, so that means you don't have to sit and fussy cut everything out, because we know some people don't like that. And also the Garden Chronicles rub-on transfer sets. They've increased the size of these. You used to get 2 designs and 2 sheets of each, and now it's gone to 4 designs with 2 sheets of each in, so you get more in there. And the Garden Chronicles laser cuts, which, you know, I love these. The double-sided printed, so it doesn't matter which way you want the butterfly or the floral leaf to go, you can just flip it over. So they're really, really good. So if they haven't already gone live in the shop, they will be going live later. Hubby's been doing that, so if he may or may not have got there just yet. So working on our book, we've got here. So before do it that way, we put it together. I find, certainly with this one, because we've got it opening up different ways, it's gone dark, it's easier to put them, to decorate the pages really before we put them in the book. So I'm going to work on that. Now we've just got our last inside back page to decorate. So I'll move these out of the way. Now this one, it has a flat top and bottom and a flat left and right. So with some of the offcuts that you've got from your making of the book, we should actually be able to do this without, or we may be able to do this without cutting into any more of the cardstock that we've got. So the flaps that go on the top and the bottom, we're going to cut those down. So we need 2. We're going to cut those down to 6 by 4 inches. So if you remember, the pages are 6 1/4 inches wide. So we're just bringing them in slightly so they don't get bulky at the corners. So that's 6 by 4, and we need 2 of those. 6 by 4 inches. Okay. Now we need, so to cut these down, we're going to score on the 4-inch side at 1/2 inch. And this gives us something to attach it to the page. So that one. So on the 4-inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And we'll do that on both of them. Okay. Right. So from the edge of the flap, so opposite to the score line, we're going to put a mark at 1/2 inch. So we'll just mark that off at 1/2 inch. And then we're going to trim that down just to the score line. So you're cutting a triangle off. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to go to the score line. And trim that off. So now you've got your top flap, which is just mited off at the corners. Okay, so we're going to do exactly the same on the next one. Or we would if I could find where my white pencils just disappeared to. Okay, we'll use a different pencil because, oh, put it away. Trying to be more tidy and doing it without realising, not a good move. Okay, so again, just line that up and trim it off down to your score line. And then exactly the same on the other side. Okay, so again, we're just going to fold that over and burnish that down. And the other one, give that a good burnish as well. So the inside of the back cover. We're going to use, I'm just going to pop some glue on there. Line that up, and you will have a small gap at each side, just enough so it doesn't get too bulky with all the corners at the same point. Okay. Hi Jill. Hi Helen. Oh, Wi-Fi problems. It's not a great, is it, Helen? I think we've become too reliant on it now. I know I certainly have. But never mind. We'll get there. And like you say, you can always watch the replays if it's within a couple of days. If not, they'll be uploaded on the YouTube channel. So for our left and right hand flaps, let's see what we've got. Shucks, not quite. We need pieces that are 8 inches by 3.5. So these are 8 1/4. We've obviously cut them off the bottom of a A4 sheet. So I'm just going to spin those round and trim the extra 1/4 inch off. And they need to be 3.5 inches wide. So cut that down to 3.5 and move the trimmer out of the way. Has anybody found the perfect trimmer yet? I love my Caterpillar for anything over sort of 6-8 inches. I love the Guillotine, but it doesn't, well, mine only goes up to 8 inches, but you can't cut anything out of the middle, so I have to have using either my We Are Makers trim and scoreboard for cutting things, gutting and cutting things out of the middle, or I've got a really old Fiskars one as well, but I still wish we could have a perfect scoreboard trimmer all-in-one cutter. I know We Are Makers did one that they call the all-in-one, but after a while, especially with these plastic bits, they can move, and if you use quite a big score tool, if you use their score tool, after it's been used, it widens at the bottom, so and then it can widen this, so you end up with the cuts not being precise. So if anybody finds one that's really, really good, can you let me know? Because I don't need one yet, but I would like one that I can just pack for a crop or a weekend and not have to take 3 different ones. So, or if anyone's got any good ideas to do one, we can always look into having it manufactured, and we can make loads of money, or not, as the case may be. So again, we're going to score at 1/2 inch on the short 3.5 inch side. On both of those. So again, we're going to go in 1/2 inch from each side. Oops. So 1/2 inch there and 1/2 inch there. And then we're going to trim this off just down to the score line. And then again on there, we're going to trim this off again from the score line just up to 1/2 inch off. And exactly the same on the next one. So these flaps act like, if you like, doors to the page. Okay, so mark at 1/2 inch and then trim those off. You're right, Jill. I've noticed with certainly with my Fiskars, well, my Fiskars blades and the We Are Maker, they've gone ridiculously expensive, which is why I like the Guillotine one and the Crocodile one, because they have, when you bring it down, it's metal against metal, so they in theory are self-sharpening. But there's still things that I can't do with them that I would like to do, so that's why I just want something that doesn't exist, I think. So these are going to go on either side and open up. So again, we're just going to pop the glue on. And line that up, just leaving, I'm not great at fractions, it's about 1/8 of an inch top and bottom. And then turn it around and exactly the same on the other side. Make sure it's straight, lined up. And burnish that down well. Now, when we close it, we close top and bottom and then left and right. There is a small gap in the middle, but that's just so it doesn't, if it catches, it can sometimes pull your pages. So now it's down to choices. We need a piece of paper to go on the back. So that's going to be our base page for the inside back of the folio. I'll get my distress ink out. What's Julie saying? Julie, you've just reminded me, does your trimmer come with different blades that can interchange on it? Because that's made me think somewhere safe in my craft room, I have a really old, and I think it might be a Rototrim cutter, and there's something in the back of my head that says it also, as well as doing your normal cutting, that it also cuts different shapes out, like a decal edge, and I think it was quite a big one with maybe a 12-inch base. But now you've made me think I might have to have a look around for that. So I tend to do my outside, decorate those first, just because that's the bit that's seen more. But as I say, it's entirely up to you. It's your book. Do what you like. But I am going to take out one of the pages to go on the back, which will be the outside back of the book. So I'm going to go with this one. I was talking to a friend at weekend and they were saying that it doesn't take that long to make a memory album. So you can knock one up in, if she had a full day at it with no interruptions and somebody brought a brews to keep her going, she could knock one up in about 5 or 6 hours, which I thought was really good. But then she told me it would then take her another 3 weeks to be able to decide what paper went where, which way up they went, and I kind of get it. I find it hard because I've already made this book, this folio once. The pages that I really liked are where I wanted them to be in the book, so trying to do it differently even, I'm finding it really hard. When I pick the pages, I'm like, oh, and then I look back and it's the same one. So for the outside of these pages, I'm going to use this one because it will, if I can cut it up the middle and we've got both sides of it. So I'm going to trim this down and get my pencil. So this is 8 inches and our flaps are 8 inches, so I'm just going to trim 1/4 inch off the top, which will then give us 1/8 inch top and bottom. So and then again, just one about 1/8 inch off each side. So what I'm going to do is trim it at 2 7/8. I might have passed my maths GCSE, but fractions weren't great. And then spin it round and cut the rest off. Now, so I'm going to pop this in place. So it's going to sit like that. So I need to just mark in pencil, top and bottom, where I want to trim that off. I'm going to use my knife again just because it's easier to see. And just down to that corner. And exactly the same, making sure I can see, yeah, where the pencil mark is. It just looks like the end of a leaf there. So that, whenever I just put the white there to make it easier for you to see, so that will just sit with a small black reveal all the way round. Okay, just going to trim a smidge more off that because it doesn't, it could be that my score line's a little bit fatter, so it didn't give as much as I wanted all the way round. Yeah, I don't think there is a perfect trimmer yet, Julie. Oh, woodware trimmer. That's going back a while. I think if you go to your daughter's craft room and help her tidy up, you may find that trimmer somewhere. You know, she might have put it in that safe place and forgotten where it was. Or she might be hiding it from you. So again, just pop this down, and with using glue rather than double-sided adhesive, you do get that little bit of wiggle room in case you don't put it in exactly the right place. So again, I'm just going to line this up top and bottom, and put a small, that's better, pencil mark where to trim that off. And again, just for ease, and it, because it's so fine at one end, it's much easier to do it with a knife and a ruler. So okay, so again, just offer that up, and that will give you a really neat edge. I believe we're getting some sunshine back, allegedly. Maybe not quite as hot as it was last time, but it would be nice to see some sunshine rather than the rain that we've had recently, although the gardens have enjoyed it. Okay, so again, I'm just going to line that up, get that straight, and pop that down. So we're going to do exactly the same for these two. Let's see what we've got left. I think I'm actually going to use, oops, the reverse of that one, the peachy colour. So we're going to do it exactly the same. We're going to trim that down. And then we're going to cut it at, oops, 2 7/8. And then cut the other one. So I'm just going to put them together and just trim 1/4 of an inch off, so we get that 1/8 of an inch reveal top and bottom. underneath. And I did mean I would do the inside of them, not the top and bottom. So we've got that there. We line it up and just make a pencil mark. And I'm going to do the other one at the same time. Line it up. And make a pencil mark top and bottom. So now I can cut the corners off. You'll be great. You'll be fine, Jill. I have every faith in you. And if I remember, I'll pop it in the bag in case you need to have a quick look at it. So I'll just turn those round, line it up. And trim those off. So they go on there like that. So again, I'm just inking the edges up. Do them both while we're at it. Isn't it strange how if I'm inking edges of paper like this, I do prefer the blending tools, but if I'm doing any other inking, I use blending brushes. I don't know why I don't use one for both of them, but I guess it's what works best. So again, we're just going to line this up. And pop that in place. And again, line this up. And slide that in place. So now I need top and bottom. I've done that one. I'm going to use that one because I should be able to keep quite a lot of the flowers on it. Or no, I'm going to use that one. Told you I'm not very decisive when it comes to papers. So for this one, we still need to take half an inch off. No, we don't. 1/4 of an inch off to make it fit and give a small reveal on either side of the flap. So I'm going to, instead of taking a bit off each side, I'm going to take it off the one side, off the plainer side. So that's 3.5 inches. So if I cut 1/8 of an inch, so that's 3/8 of an inch from the bottom, and then because I want the butterflies to flow up, I'm going to cut 3 1/3 of an inch off the top. Alright, questioning my own measurements now. No, I was right. So trim it down to 3 3/8. Now they've got nice patterns on the back. If you really wanted to, you could fussy cut that butterfly out, but it's not a necessity. So again, we're just going to line this up. Again, just for ease of eyes, I'm going to line it up on the white with the white paper underneath rather than the patterned background. So just make a mark there. And I'm going to do exactly the same for the top piece. Line that up there. And there. And then we're just going to take our knife and trim that off. And do exactly the same on the other side. I think I need a new blade in my knife. And again on the bottom piece. So get rid of all these bits, although I did think at one point I could put all these little bits together and make a nice pattern for something, but then I thought it was too much. So again, no brushes to ink, and yet some people do it really well, Julie. If I try and use a brush to ink my edges, it goes everywhere. So yeah, stick to what works. So pop your glue on. Oops. Well, that's the top one and the bottom one. So even if you feel that some of the papers the main papers in this collection are a bit not to your liking, the reverse of them is really pretty, with the oranges or the peachy colours, the lemons. I think that one's got pale pink, so they are really pretty. So that is your inside back cover. Now, oops, I'm just going to put the lid on. If you bought the kit, in your kit you will have had, oops, I think I've got one already open, yeah. Your rub-ons. Have I put them? Yeah, I've got them all mixed up now. And I popped a lot of mine out when I was doing something else because I managed to get them stuck. So you will get your laser cuts. I think there are some in there that I've popped out, or there was only those left. You will also have in your kit some of the tickets, and some of the PET tape. Now, you will also have some of the ephemera tape. So this ephemera tape is upside down, can be used just as a strip. So if you wanted, you could just stick a strip down there. What I tend to do is use a section of it. So if you just want a small part of it, I'll get my small scissors out. I've done things like cut around the orange ticket, had that coming in from that side, so I would tear it just to give a different edge, and if you tear it towards you, you will get a white edge on that. And I'm just going to tear down the side of the ticket. I hope this shows up. So you just tear it. If you hold it quite close between your fingers, you get more control over the ticket. And I think I'm going to tear down this edge as well now. Sometimes I would leave it scissor straight, but I decided not to. If you get carried away and leave quite a big gap between your fingers, you will get a bigger white edge. So I'm just going to go around the edges. And I I think I'm going to stick that all the way up there. Now I'm going to use normal glue for this. If you're layering lots of things up, you can use Mod Podge, mixed media glue. There's lots of things that you can use. Any sort of matte glue. Just going to line that up and pop that there. Now I'm going to use one of these tickets. The really nice thing about these tickets is that they are black and white. So I'm going to pick out, I think I'm going to pick out the pink. So I'm going to use this one at the top. Now they are actually perforated like a stamp. Now, depending on how dark you want it, I'll just take this one off as well. You can literally go over it with your ink pad like that, which is, as you can see, this is Kitsch Flamingo. If you don't want it that dark, you can just use your blending brush. Pop that in place. So you have a lot more control doing it this way. So you get a softer colour. But it depends what your ink is, what your papers are. If you wanted a softer colour. So I'm going to pop that there. Put my lid back on. You also get some coloured stickers. And I'm going to choose. So I'm going to make up a little cluster of things as an embellishment. In fact, as you can see, I've been going through this. I'm going to use this pink stamp and one of, oops, I want a stamp that goes landscape rather than portrait. So I'm going to pop some glue on the back of this tape, on the back of this ticket, decide where I want it and pop that in place. Then I'm going to do exactly the same. If you've got the kit, it does look like these stamps are self-adhesive, but they're not. I spent the best part of 20 minutes trying to get them to stick, and they won't, because they're not self-adhesive, they're just glossy on the back. So I'm just going to line those up like that and hold them in place. Now, some of the PET tape that you got actually has self-adhesive stickers on. These can be coloured with your alcohol inks. I'm trying to think, somebody told me that they struggle getting it off. So I tend to cut mine down into smaller strips. And if you curl it at one corner, you'll find that it comes up quite easily. But especially with the sticker one, if you're careful, you can then pull off, don't know if this is the outside, like the waste, if you like. Make sure if you've got something like that, keep your finger on the bottom bit and pull it round. Then when you come to remove your stickers, it's quite easy because they're just there, and all you need to do then is pull it back, and I'm going to pop that over there like that. I did think about fussy cutting that one and sticking it on, which I might do, but I'm not sure yet. Again, in your paper pad, these are ones that I had that fell out of the laser cuts. I think it's always a good idea to I think I've got two mixed up here as well. Have a small bag nearby for your laser cuts, because once you've got quite a few out, the others do tend to fall out without much persuasion. I've got a mix of collections there. So these are all the laser cuts that have come out. And then the tags, you go to your back pages, you have your tags. They literally, the kiss cut, you just literally hold them, the outside and the tag, and just pop out. No more fussy cutting. And then we've got the circles, and they are printed on both sides. So if you wanted your, no, they go the same way. But these words, they're printed on like little labels. But say you don't like Dreamer. You're right. On the back, Julie, the reason of not using one of my trays is because I was a bit peckish earlier, so I've got a load of nuts in it. But yeah, you've got your tags and your circles. Your laser cuts. Don't put your rubbish in because it's a waste. So your tags, if you don't like the words that are on them, or they don't suit the book that you've got, you can just turn them over and use the other side. So I'm going to put all the labels in there. Oops, I even missed the tray from there. Julie, sometimes they have chocolate buttons in these trays. They're not all for crafting, you know. So that now can go in the waste. So at the bottom here, some of the other PET tape is, I'll just show you this small piece. It's a little bit like a film strip, but it's got floral bits and a butterfly and a stamp. But the way it's been done, so that butterfly in the middle, you can cut that straight up the middle there and just have a section of butterfly coming out. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use, excuse me, so I'm just going to cut that section off. Now, this pet tape, you can tear it. However, I really struggle tearing it. So what I do, if you make a tiny cut where you want the tear to start from, and then just pull it down or pull it straight off. You can then get your torn edge. So again, just take it, go to the corner between your fingers. If you roll it back and then just gently tease it, and it will peel off. But again, it's self-adhesive. So I'm going to pop this. I'm going to do it lower down. And then you can see there, excuse me, that the tape is flush to your page. As well as that, you also get a, not stripy, what's it called? Chevron shaped tape. Which, what I tend to do with the chevron is leave it flush to go up at the edge. Excuse me. And just cut along one of the chevrons. And then again, exactly the same. Just roll it back. You can use a pokey tool if you prefer. I tried using my pokey tool and ended up stabbing myself, so I don't recommend that. Again, it will just sit and you can still see what's underneath it. But I think I'm gonna put, oops, memories on there as well. And excuse me, I think one of the neighbours has cut the grass. How rude. The one thing I found a little bit odd regarding the laser cuts, oh, you also have other words, like that one says new experiences, surrounded by love, big tickets. So this is a small ticket, but that pops out, so you get like a Polaroid section, and your butterfly will pop out and that's just your waist. Obviously I've pinched the blue butterfly out of that one. If you would rather whatever you're framing wasn't a Polaroid frame, you can just snip down there and use it as a square frame. So all these beautiful floral bits, tickets and tags. What does that say? Enjoy your journey. And your tags, which again, if you don't like the tag or the ticket, they're just plain on the other side, so you can stamp your own words or pictures. What I didn't understand with the kit was why we had a set of ladders in the laser cuts. I kind of get the little picket fence. It's floral, it's gardeny. Yeah, not quite sure why we've got a ladder, but that's just me. So on the laser cuts, you've got lots of floral bits, more butterflies. But yeah, 2 ladders. And I kind of get the window because you can put your flowers behind it, but I didn't really get where the ladders were. So again, on this one, I'm going to use that one. Yeah, I think I'm going to use Memories, and I'm going to, no, it's not wide enough. I'm going to use another ticket and pop this. So I've used a vertical one. So I'm just going to pop that on the side there, and then glue on the back of the word. And make sure it's straight. And there you go. So that, I want something here, because why not? So I'm going to get my laser cuts. No, I'm not. I'm going to get my rub-ons. So like I say, you get both sets of rub-ons. The easiest way to apply these is decide which rub-on you want, which again for me can take some time. I think I'm going to stick with the butterfly theme, and I'm going to use this sort of abstract butterfly stamp. Now what I find is best is to use your scissors and cut around it first. And the reason I do this is they are super sticky. They're not like the rub-ons of old. Stand that up. With the bean there, the travel collection, I didn't do this. I just lifted it up and cut round them, and I've actually ended up with one of the rub-ons stuck to the front of the plastic bag that they come in, because I put it down while I was waiting for some, or probably while I was talking. So decide where you want it. They do come with a lolly stick. I tend to just use, I've got a really big ball tool, so I just rub it, little circles, rub that down, and then if you lift it gently, you'll be able to see if it's all made contact. If it hasn't, you can go back. There's a bit missing there. So just very carefully and gently roll it back, and if you see there's a little bit missing, just go back over it. And there's a bit there. It's easy to do it and pull it up, and then if you've missed anything, it's still in place and you can just go over it again. But they are super sticky. So yeah, and then you can just get rid of the bits that you don't need anymore. So again, on here, what I'm going to do is put actually I'm going to leave that as it is for now. So when my book is made up, that is going to be the front of my folio. So now I don't need to, but like on this one, don't know if you can see, I've actually, some of these, these are the laser cuts that are just flat. These are raised up on, I think they're on little foam pads. Again, that's raised up. And then some of these tickets and tags, some are flat, some are raised up, just to give it a little bit of dimension. I don't know if you can see that, not massively, but yeah, you can do that. If you haven't got foam pads, another trick is when you've been making books and you've been making your own covers and you've got grey board, you end up with lots of little offcuts of grey board. So I chop them down smaller, and because you have two different thicknesses of grey board, you get two different thicknesses for when you're doing that. So decide which of the laser cuts, I want for the front of my book. So that's going to be, let me get this right, yeah, that's going to be the front of my folio. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to use one of these, and the easiest thing is to lay them in place first. I'll just rub the front of folio out. If you lay them in place, don't stick anything down until you're happy with the placement of it. Again, you've got all these, but if you flip it over, the tags are blank on the back, as are the the phrases. So if you wanted to write, if it was somewhere where you'd been on holiday, you could put where you were, what the date was, if these words didn't fit with your theme. So I'm gonna do a bit of a florally one. And please, if any of you are really good with flowers, please forgive me, because I know a rose, I know a tulip, and I know a poppy. After that, I'm not very good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use these long spiky ones. Now, another top tip. If you struggle and your laser cuts are really, really fine, like the stems on here and around there, if you put it on a foam mat, I'm not sure if that was a stamping mat or a pricking mat, but if you pop it on there, use a really, really big ball tool and then just gently rub over. It will actually pop the laser cut out of the book. So let me see, where's the other one? So again, you just start at one end, gently rub along the line where it's attached, and then there will still be one or two where it's still attached, but it's easier then. So you can either have those where they face each other, where they're back to back, or if you turn one over and not the other, you can have them going the same way. I guess it depends which way the wind's blowing. I'm going to make this up with this blue flower, and again, you just roll it over, and it just helps to release them without tearing them. So that's that one. I'm going to use the yellow flower. So again, up the stem, and it just pops up then. And then just go around the outside. You still need to be a little bit gentle, but it does make it a lot easier for you. I'm going to use this one. So again, just go up. And gently pick those out. So now I'm going to have a play with the placement. So because we've got the colour at this side, yeah, I'm going to pop these here. Now, as I said, that blue leaf doesn't work. Flip it over and it will go there. Now, if that's too long for what you want, you can always chop the bottom off. So I want that there. This yellow one, I want a bit lower. So I'm going to pop that one down. So just pop little dabs of glue on the back. It doesn't need to be all over. If anyone's still got in their craft stash a Xyron sticker maker, run your laser cuts through. It's great for making them double-sided. So just pop that down. I'm going to pop the blue one there. And again, just dab the leaves. Like I say, it doesn't need to be on everywhere. And pop that so it's overlapping. And then the yellow one is going to go here. But obviously that's much too long. So I'm going to pop that on there and just trim this off. So mark where you want to cut it off and just snip that off the end. Pop it on like that. And if it's still a bit too long, just lift it and pop it back down. And then I'm going to make, again, a little bit of a collage. So I'm going to take some of these tickets and I'm going to use, I wanted pink, this blue one. So I'm going to pop the ticket there. And then I'm going to go with this one. Maybe one of these. So now you just, it's basically time to play. If you want to colour these, you can do. I think I'm going to go with pink again because it's handy. And spin that round. And I might also go with the dried marigold. If you use any of Katie's collections, she does actually give a recommendation as to what colours, what distress colours she has in the past. I don't know if she still do. What colours she recommends of your distress inks or your oxides that will go with her collections, which is quite a good one. So I'm going to start, I'm going to put that one flat there. Then I'm going to raise this one up. So I'm going to use some of the chipboard. I'm just going to cut that in half. It doesn't all need lifting. If you lift it up, you don't need it all over. So if we pop that on there. And on there. And make sure when you're sticking it down, you stick it the right way up. You don't want your text upside down. So that's going to go there. And you can pop that flower's going the wrong way. I'm going to use this one instead. Just because the butterfly was aiming the wrong direction, I'm going to slide that one underneath. Pop that under there. Then you can get your little stamps and line them up. What else have I got? This is where it takes me forever. Again, you've got these where you can just layer them up. Pop one of these. I'm going to pop one of these in first. So I'm going to pop that under there and stick this one down. So it is just plain for grown-ups. I'm going to use some of the thinner grey board. That one. Just to go on this one. It's a bit too long. So you're just going to layer them up. And that will slide under there. And again, pop that there. I'm going to stick that one on the side, like that. And then find one of the words. It says, enjoy your journey, remember the stories, surrounded by love, take the photos, enjoy the moment. I think I'm going to use surrounded by love, and I'm going to have that coming off the end there. But I'm also going to put a little bit more greenery around here. It's looking a bit, I don't know, it's not looking right to me. So I'm going to pop that on there, just overlapping slightly. Like that. And then I think I'm going to pop this at the top. Or am I? Maybe not. So I'll just get a small piece of grey board. Pop that there. And then again, just hold that in place while the glue sets. I was gonna put a small bee on, because you do get some bees, but it actually looks quite big compared to the flowers. Let's pop it out and see. know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Just pop that on, and because it's so delicate, I'm just going to stick this on flat. You don't want it having its wings and antennae ripped off. It's not a good look. And then I'm going to decide, I might put the yellow butterfly and maybe the smaller white one. Just pop them on the background. And what I'm going to do is pop some, before I put the glue on, if you just roll the butterflies over your fingers like that, or you can do it over a pencil. If you hold it just to the outside of the body and lift it up, and then go from the other side and lift it up, it will give you a flat section to put your glue on. So pop your glue on the body and the antennae, and then when you pop that down, the body and the antennae will stick. And you can just use your ball tool just till it sticks. Use a smaller one. Just hold that in place, and that gives some movement on your butterflies. So exactly the same with this one. If you put your thumb on the outside of the body and bend it up, exactly the same on the other side and bend it up, and then just gently curve the wings. If you're not sure about doing it that way, if you've got a mat, if you turn them over and gently press down with a ball tool, it will naturally curl the wings for you. But then flip it over and push down where the body's going to be. Bring this back in. Pop your glue up the body and on the antennae. And again, just hold that in place. And that will that does give you slightly more lift on the butterfly. I don't know if you can see that. So it does have quite a deep lift as opposed to this one, but you can again lift the wings up on that, and you've got that there. So that's going to be the front of my book, although I may faff and put more things on it afterwards, just because, why not? So you've got that. I've gone through the easy ways of getting your laser cuts out. I've gone through your rub-ons. Keep all your laser cuts together. So those of you that are working along, also on your pet tape you've got some words, one that says this, sweet, and I might put hello up there. Yeah, and like I say, because I've already took the outside off this bit, it will just peel off and stick. And there, then if you wanted to go over it with your alcohol markers, they will actually sit nicely on there. So I'm going to leave it there for tonight. I could spend the next 3 weeks on decorating your pages, but I'm sure you all know how to do it and enjoy playing and getting on with it. So we'll leave it there tonight. Next week we'll go through making the hinge, attaching the pages and making the side bits to hold it together. So it'll be in here 7:30 next Wednesday. If you're making along, pop your pictures in the group and I can be nosy and see what papers everyone else is using. And I shall see you next week. If you've got any questions, drop me a message, pop the question in group and we'll see if we can answer it for you. Okay, take care everyone, I'll see you all soon. Bye.